Hello, beautiful people. How are all of you doing today? Chat, how do you do? Lots of glorbs. We do? Yes, you do. Hell yeah. Hi, chat. Good morning. Ugh. Please, not another light meter title. Fine. 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 I'll do Clee today.
The most important part of going out to have fun is...
Yeah, Milani jump scare a little bit. True. True. Sorry. Let's get her off screen. Let's just quickly remove her from my screen. Yes, okay. 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 I was frantically scavenging the internet for reactions to the Luna 3 livestream because I thought it was today. No. I had to wake up early today, but it wasn't because of the livestream. It's because I had a vaccine appointment. Where should I spend my resin? I mean... I mean... 16-second dire... What the hell? What the hell? That's not normal. Huh? What the fuck? Next week is double talent books. Yeah, but it's not like you get double talent books for 3 claims a day for 7 days. That's not a lot, man. That's 1 day's worth of resin extra, basically. So it's not like I should just not farm talents until that happens. You know? What even is in this domain again? Oh yeah. I can do Barissa. But well, yeah, I should have a decent Mawika build now on the codex, right? Let's get this. This. Do I not? This. 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 And now we're way overcapped, but we're not overcapped if we go Joel. Huge.
Justice will prevail. Start the wrath from the skies. Boom! Charge! Running late again.
Yeah, I think it's faster if I don't spend time on Mawika, actually, but it's fine. I think the game wants me to be a Molani main. What the fuck?
Quick as a flash. Burn it down. Pyroclastic surge. Hero incoming. Time to roll.
Like, what the hell do you mean, man? Verissa not even top 5 after next patch? What's the top 5 then? You say that after the November 19th incident? Another purple? That's insane. Milani is the Jeff's green goblin. Yeah. Maybe. Top 5 next badge is Mawika, Molani, Skirk, Varessa, Nefer. After Columbina, Varessa will probably be replaced by Flynn's. I don't know. Because Varessa is going to be pretty far ahead with Durin. You know? Like, right now, the main argument against Varessa is that it's kind of Mawika reliant to really reach its height. But, like, that's not going to be the case anymore, right? Anyways. Chat. I can't believe I'm fucking doing this, but... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I have more crowns on my Molani than on my Nevilet right now. That's crazy. You're now officially a Molani Glazer? True. I should farm for Mora again, but I don't really want to, but I should. But this leyline is not Flynn's friendly. Did you even double crown Skirk? I think so. I guess I'm not sure, actually.
Rise with us. Controlled breathing. Let's. Yeah, everybody stand.
He's fucking running away from where the next one will spawn, which is really annoying.
Adventure time.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like doing these ley lines with Mawika because it's like,
No, my soul.
okay, that's annoying.
Pyroclastic surge.
Now do 4 rotation sim average. I don't know if it's fixed because I don't know if the problem was on my end or theirs. Other people weren't struggling with it, so it might have been on my end, and if it's on my end, it might not be fixed. WFP sim. Run. Yeah, problem's still there. I don't know why there's a problem, though.
Oh, ow. Where did that come from?
Actually, I know why there's a problem. No, I don't. No, yes, I do. Okay, I figured it out. I figured out what the problem was yesterday. What I changed was
Those who don't wait around. That's what they say.
the iterations that I changed from 3 to 4 was not the amount of rotations. It was the amount of bytes in a skill. So I was trying to do 4 Milani skills and it wasn't working. Yeah. So this should be it, right? So it's like 122, but I don't know how much I had changed since last time. Okay, so I had changed a couple things, but it's like 6k ish lower. Yeah, it's like 6k ish lower When you do 4 rotations instead of 3. Do you go for Monocure right now? No. But I don't know if I want to. I realized yesterday how cringe it is.
Anyway.
Share a bite? They really want me to play Maloney. What the hell? What do you mean share a bite?
The opposite is probably true for me.
Yeah. Maybe Monad C4 isn't as big of a deal as I thought, honestly. It seemed a lot harder than I expected to get a non-overcap crit ratio.
Be silent. Observe.
But maybe it's just because my specific artifacts are like really crit rate heavy. Actually, how good is my Milani build on this account right now? I don't think it's all on Barbara anymore. Yeah. Who? Okay. So I'd probably end up leveling this, right? If I got Milani. For now, I'd probably use this, because that's pretty good. Nah. High on crit rate, unfortunately. Could use this, but the attack rolls are kind of tragic. Do you have anything that's crit damage, EMHP? Doesn't seem like it, right? So we'd probably use this. Could use this worst case, but it's kind of sus. Could use this, but it's really high crit rate. That's probably what I'd use, though, right? And we've also got a problem of really high crit rate here. Yeah. I'd definitely be cooked. There's no way I'd be able to make use of the Monocon. Maybe this? Oh, this is the one I was supposed to use, yeah. Does Maloney have crit rate ascension? I forgot. Yeah. So he'd be plus 19. So we're at 65. Overcap by 5. It's a bit annoying, but I guess we're on 5p, so we could go on something else. Maybe use this. What about these? I guess I should sort by crit damage first, right? Meh. Meh. No. 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 Meh. Meh. Nah, it doesn't feel like I have a good enough off piece for these. They're just really similar to the other stuff I have. Yeah. What about these? Crit damage, HP percent, crit rate, I guess. I mean, I could use this, but it's not that good, right? It's a 7 roller. Could level this, maybe. Could level this, too. I'd probably actually level a couple of these pieces to check. Yeah. Is he already good on Maloney? Not really. The biggest problem with ER and Molani in the teams with Mona is that because of Mona's hydroparticle generation, your ER requirements to burst every other rotation are like basically nothing. But because you're not generating that many particles, your ER requirements to burst every rotation are like 200. And being almost able to burst every rotation doesn't do anything, right? Maybe there's a world where, like, you start full energy and you do a, like, enter skill, burst immediately, and then 2 chomps so that you generate your particles after you use your energy. And then in the next rotation, you get your first chomp, and that might give you enough energy for burst. So maybe there's some energy breakpoints that allow you to get, like, 2 bursts every 3 rotations or something like that. And if that's possible, then maybe ER is a bit better than I'm giving it credit for right now. But I'm not sure. How would you play the team on first rotation incision without energy? Well, you probably just... I guess it depends on how much ER your Mona has. You definitely start with Molani E to generate the particles, right? So Molani E and 1. Battery the particles to Mona. Then Mona E. Then if you need to, Sucrose particles to Mona again. Then Mawika. Then Mona burst. Then Sucrose. And then Molani. You probably just skip the first Mawika burst, because it's not that important. Anyways. Incision, you instantly get the Witched buff? No, you don't. What is bro yapping about? You have to swap to get it. If Molani's on slot 1, you won't get it. I think you do? No, you don't.
Engaged. Animal test 6308.
Close your eyes. Be silent. To dust.
Which one is better with Mona Durin, Sucrose, or Shilonen? They're fairly similar, but you should probably just... If you have both available, Shilonen will be easier to play. Impromptu acid def Molani? True.
Installation check. Absorption test.
Observe. Be silent.
Dude. I'm actually gonna become a Molani Glazer. Holy fuck. I don't want to be, you know? Like, it kind of... The idea upsets me. But, like, she's actually gonna be good now. So, I don't know.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing today's commissions.
Bro, can't believe Neviled gets a buff every patch.
Ad Astra Abyssos.
People still think he's dog shit. Well, when he gets a buff once, becomes the best carry in the game. SMH my head. He could learn a thing or two from the true Hydro Goat. Let's already claim that. Is Molani really the best carry? No. But I think there's situations where you can make an argument for it. What buff did she get? Mona got Omega buffed, and Molani is like the character that synergizes the best with Mona. No. Is there a different rotation possible for C1 Molani to abuse first chomp? Oh, definitely, yeah. Most definitely, yes. Don't ask me to figure it out, though. You're gonna have to figure that shit out yourself, buddy. Okay. What do you mean abuse first chomp? Like getting 2 skills per rotation? Yeah. Because the C1 only buffs the first chomp, so rotations that do 2 skills per rotation instead of a 1 will be better. And you very much can get 2 skill per rotation. Okay, chat. What the heck am I gonna be doing here for my resin? I don't really need more in the short term on this account. All right, how much do I have? I have 6 million. I guess it's not that much, right? I'm planning on getting Durin. I need to max him out. I need to level more than one of his talents, right? Like... his normal attack talents, I'll get to 9. Skill to 9 as well. So we need, like... We're basically out of Mora. From leveling Durin. That's insane, man. Fuck. I guess we should farm Mora then. Cooked. Chat. I went to get a vaccine earlier today, and I was in the car with my mom. And I was looking at the trees outside, and I don't think I've ever seen a scenery that was as pretty as the trees looked today. Like, things just looked so good. Holy. Because we had, like, a really humid night. Where there was, like, fog. It was a very foggy night / morning. And towards the end of the night, it went below 0. And so all the, like, dew and the, like, humidity concentration that condensed onto the trees froze. But there was no snow on the ground because it didn't snow. It didn't even rain. The Quebec propaganda is not working on me. Yeah, GG. But yeah, so, like, all the trees had, like, this thin layer of, like... I'm not entirely sure what to call it, because it's not snow, but it's not ice either. Wait, let me try to... I know... Okay, apparently there's no... Oh, there is... Rhyme. Oh my god. I didn't know what rhyme meant. That's crazy. But rhyme. It was rhyme. Oh my god, rhyme grass? Rhyme grass in real life? It was rhyme tree, not rhyme grass, but still. But bro, it was so pretty actually. Should we go to Nod Cry? No, my ley line is electro immune. It's fine, I can just play Maoika. Whatever. Bro's annual outside venture, true.
Headbutt! You asked for it! Start the... Light it up! Wrath from the sky!
Okay. That's just fucked up, man.
Incinerate!
I got fucking deered. That wasn't even my fault. Fucking stupid ass deer, man. I feel like Nefer right now. There was a deer and because of that I fumbled. Like, fuck, man. We're cooked.
Quick as a flash! Light of the blazing sun! Rev the... Charge! Ha ha! Yeah!
Is this how she feels all the time? Maybe I was too harsh on her, actually. Maybe I was too harsh on her. You forgot to do the Columbina Weekly Chronicle thing? I didn't forget to do it. I just didn't do it.
Final warning! Faster! Stronger! Wrath from the skies!
Oops.
Try and stop
Okay. Why can Maoika never aim her E when she's already in bike mode? It, like, always fucking misses.
Yeah! Headbutt!
Ooh. Is it just me? What? Is it? Did we just get, like, 3 artifacts? What the fuck? Everything that's not locked right now should be new. Yeah, we just got 3 artifacts from this ley line. That's crazy. What the hell? Huh?
What?
Have I done my weeklies? Do I need to do weeklies right now? Maybe I do. Also, fuck, I'm gonna need to do this. I haven't done my weeklies, but I don't know if I need to. Okay, these are the materials Durin needs, right? I don't have enough of them. I'm pretty sure I have, like... I have a bunch of these. Isn't that weird? Aren't these materials what I needed from Maoika? Did I need these from Olani, maybe? Whatever, I'll do this. Ideally, I'd prefer keeping my dream solvents for billets rather than weekly mats, so I'll just do this. Should we play Varessa or something else? Do we play Volati? No, we don't. Fuck that. Fuck that. Maloney needs Arlecchino. Ah, that makes sense. Maloney came out before this quest did. Right. What's Durin's talent priority? Burst, then skill, then normal, but like... Maybe... Sometimes it's gonna be normal before skill.
On my light of the blazing sun. Incinerate.
I probably shouldn't have done that, actually.
Kapow! It's justice o'clock.
You are loyal to the wrong master.
Oh.
Rise with the sun. Step aside. Let's wrath from the skies.
Why normal per on-field? Yeah.
Justice o'clock.
Like... I actually do think Durin's best team is arguably gonna be his on-field team. So I think it's actually worth leveling his normals. If you're planning on, like... If you actually care about him, like if you're someone who pulls for Durin, not just for meta reason, but because you like him. If you pull for him just for meta reasons, it depends on where you want to play him, so maybe you don't need to. But like, I'll level them. Nice. Sure. Lock that. Not that excited about it, but it's okay. Oh yeah, that's a good question. I wonder how good on-field Durin is in teams that aren't Overload or Vape. Because for the shill boss that's coming for him and Venti, I wonder what the best team would be if you want to play him with Venti. It might just be on-field anyways, right? But the boss does have really low animal resistance, so maybe not. Right? It gets its animal res shredded by 150%. So maybe it's just better to go animal damage. I think they changed that. Did they? Oh, I'll take a look at the changes then. Stygian. What do we got? No, they didn't change that. Oh, they did change it. It's not 150% anymore. That was just 105. Just 105. Its HP is pretty low, though, so I wonder how brute forceable it is. I don't expect Venti to be that important. I guess it depends on how exactly the shield mechanic is. Hmm. Man. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do some sort of Skirk team here, some sort of Durin team here, some sort of Verissa team here. Damn. That means a Durin release patch. I won't be able to play the Verissa Durin team in Siege and Onslaught optimally. It's a bit annoying, but it's fine. Can the non-plunge characters be the third boss? Yes, but you're gonna want to get the stat. Like, you don't need to be a plunger, but you do need to have the ability to incorporate jumps in your rotation to get this attack buff. N1J on Arlecchino. I mean, you probably do N3JP on Arlecchino. I don't know if the N3 still has the buff, though. Maybe it's N2JP. Because I don't know when you lose it. Like, does the 1.5 second timer start when you reach the height? When you leave the height? Or after your plunge damage once you've left the height? I'm not sure exactly. Right? Right, like, we don't know if it lingers, we don't know if it refreshes, any of that, right? So it's, yeah. Can Skirk do it? I think it'll be hard for Skirk. But this amount of HP might just be straight up brute forceable with Skirk. Because it doesn't get any sort of, like, high res mechanics or anything. Which team exactly are you thinking for the Durin boss? I don't know, but I don't think it's gonna matter, bro. That shit has fucking 4 mil HP. This has less HP than the bosses have in Abyss right now. Right? Like... 70% res? Yeah, but just play a high res team and you're fine, right? I'll probably just play Venti Carry, actually. Can your Veressa do Dire? Most likely, yeah. Because, like... my Veressa team was able to do Dire for this, right? With a bit of time to spare. And this is a boss that actively nerfs your team. Right? My dogshit Veressa team with Electrocharge, right, with Xianyun, was able to do this. 17 mil HP. So 23 mil with 600% attack should be very, very easy. Shock Trooper incident? Yeah, we don't talk about that. It's fine. I believe the Jeff can do all 3 Dire bosses. I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know if my Skirk is strong enough for this. Right, because the Pyro Shield will take too long if I bring Citlali. But I don't know how many times we have to go through the Pyro Shield. If you don't have to go through the Pyro Shield too many times, maybe I can just bring Citlali. But otherwise, I'll need to bring Sanctorial on. That's gonna make my DPS lower, and I don't know if I have enough damage to do 11 million through these shields with a team like that. How would Skirk break the Cryo Shield? There's no Cryo Shield. It's Electro, Pyro, and Hydro. So the team you're supposed to do for this is either freeze or bloom. Right? Because you really want Hydro for the Pyro Shield. And Cryo and Dendro can do the Electro and Hydro Shield. Technically, you can also do like an Aggravate team or a Hyper Bloom team, but I don't know if that's enough DPS. Is Nefer good? Yeah. This is Nefer slash Skirk shill, basically. Actually, if you have both Skirk and Nefer, I think you're really fucking sad for this Siege and Onslaught. Because I don't know if either Skirk or Nefer will be able to do these two bosses. Both of them will be very good here, but both of them will suck ass for these. Maybe Skirk has enough damage for this. Wait, you can, what if you do burst mode Skirk and you jump after burst? Like, are you gonna get the attack buff in time? Thoughts? 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 You guys think we're gonna get the attack buff in time? Why not just jump before? Animation is too long. Wait, does Skirk's burst snapshot? I don't think it does. Doesn't the burst hit too quick? You can move really quickly after Skirk burst.
Fearless.
But I don't know if it's quick enough.
Merciless. Paradigm shift.
Right? Like, we clearly got our jump before things hit. Right? Let's go try it against an enemy that actually lets us look at things properly. Dude, if this is actually gonna make Skirk good against this boss, that's so funny. That's, like, actually so funny.
Merciless. Into the void.
Like, do you guys think that's gonna count? Dude, I feel like it could.
Merciless.
I feel like it could. How high is a high requirement? It's probably high enough that that wouldn't have worked. So you probably can't spam spacebar because you're gonna deploy your glider while you're too low. But, like, if you get the timing down, it might work. Dude, if this is actually the play, that's so fucking funny.
Another star goes out.
Like, I feel like you would get the buff on, like, 3 of those 5 hits. You know? Oh god. Maybe Skirk does work for this then. He's talking about jump, lunge, burst? No, I'm talking about burst jump. That is not worth the effort. I don't think you realize how much 600% attack is. One of the testers leaked that this tech works for the second hit of Flynn's mini burst. That's sick. That makes sense though, actually, because the second hit doesn't snapshot. That makes a lot of sense. Should we actually go through the carries and list all the characters that like could potentially incorporate jumps in weird places to get the 600% attack buff on some of their damage? I'm actually really down. Okay. Chat. Let's look at all of our carries. So what are all the characters that people could actually play as carries against a field generator? Is anyone gonna play Noelle? No. You probably snapshot Fischl. She's not gonna be a carry, but she might still be worth mentioning. Right? Also, do we know? Is this 600% attack just to the active character, or is it to the whole team? Would it be worth to go EM signs on Fischl? It won't change anything. No matter how much attack you have, because EM doesn't multiply attack, the comparison of attack versus EM sands will always be the same. Because the amount of damage you're gaining is getting multiplied by the same values, because your damage and crit isn't changing. If you were talking about a character that vapes, it would be different. But in this case, it won't. It won't matter. If EM sands were already good, they'll stay good, otherwise they won't be. Anyways, the Cyan version says the buff is applied only to the character who jump. I see. Thank you. I guess we'll talk about Diluc, right? Talk about Razor. I don't really want to talk about Bennett. Can talk about Xiangling. So either carries or like popular characters that snapshot, right? I actually don't know when Venti snapshots his stats, if it's at the start of the animation or at the end. You don't want to play Venti there anyway, so it's fine. Klee. What are we ranking? We're gonna look at all the characters and how much they would benefit from the field, the gravity field from this boss. Ganyu, Xiao, Hu Tao. Are there any characters that can't jump? I don't think so, but there are characters where jumping deactivates things. Sorry, something got in my throat there. My apologies. Nah. I guess Does this guy have oh, can I not click on him? I can click here. Yeah, this guy doesn't have physical res. It's only Geo. Vaccines hitting hard, true. It's all the vaccine's fault. I guess we can talk about Kazu, huh? Ayaka. I also don't know when Ayaka snapshots. Any Ayaka players that can tell me when Ayaka snapshots? Is it at the start or the end of the animation? I feel like it would be at the end. At the end of burst? At the end of burst? Okay. Jamie says very late at the end. That means you won't be able to use this, right? That's unlucky. Isn't that also true for Shanling? Yup. Hey, yup. Okay, we can talk about Raiden. I guess we talk about Ito. I actually don't know. Does Shen have a snapshot? I don't think she does, right? I'm pretty sure her E doesn't snapshot, but I don't know if her burst does. Because it doesn't do any damage, so I've never paid attention to whether or not it snapshots. Her burst does? I mean, it doesn't really matter. A lot of people don't seem to understand how much 600% attack is. Can you explain a bit? That's 12 main stats. It's more than that, actually. Five to 6 Bennett buffs. More than 10 TDDSs. Nine Vermilions. It's a lot, man. Anyways, we can talk about Yai. Yeah. I guess. Sure. And I guess we can talk about him, but meh. No. I'm not even gonna talk about her. Lenny. Rosaria snapshots. No one actually plays Rosaria as a major damage dealer other than people that force 4-star only clears. And even then, they rarely do. Most of the time it's just for the cryo app. We can talk about Risley. Should we also include the carries that don't benefit from it at all? Just to say that they don't benefit from it at all? Like the HP scalers, for example? We might as well, right? We can talk about Xianyun as well. Chat, stop saying things as if we were currently ranking these characters. I know the boss has dual resistance, okay? But like you're saying this as if to imply that we shouldn't talk about the characters at all because the boss has geo resistance. But like no, we should. We'll get there, man. Take a second. Okay. Arlecchino, client. We can talk about Emily. Talk about Kanich. Actually, I don't even know what happens if you jump on Kanich while you're in combat.
Make way for
Okay, you just can't do anything. That's unlucky. You're supposed to be able to E mid-air, right? If you E mid-air for the first time, do you... Is it the combat E?
Locked on.
Yeah, but you just fall down. Okay. So that's gonna be bad. Alright. But... Wait, actually?
make way for
Target acquired.
That seems hard. No, yeah. There's no way you can jump in time. Way too much end lag. Unlucky. Can you land and then cannon shoot? I don't think so. Because he doesn't snapshot. So by the time the cannon hits, you probably don't have the buff anymore. Will Kanich on top of Zhongli's pillar work? Good question. That's a really good question. Oh, we don't talk about that hold. But if you don't hold, you can do this, yeah. So I guess. That's so funny. Wait, that's so funny, actually. No, you have to actually jump to get the buff? No, you need to reach a certain height. But maybe it doesn't refresh. So I don't know if it actually works. Is Zhongli high enough? That's also something I'm not sure about. The boss will destroy Zhongli Pillar with shockwaves. That's true. But Zhongli Pillar inherits his HP, so if you build full HP Zhongli, it might survive one shockwave.
Crumble.
loaded.
If the boss, like, against an enemy that's, like, actually big, that probably hits no problem. What about Albedo Flower? The problem with Albedo Flower is that you can't stay in the air, right? You go up, but then you kind of... Yeah. Tester's confirmed. It doesn't refresh if you stay on pillar. Oh, that's unlucky, I guess. Can you try it against the actual boss? It's not gonna matter. The actual boss in Overworld doesn't give you the buff, so we can't test anything. Anyways, let's keep going. Who were we at? We were at... I guess we can talk about Sethos, but... eh. Talk about Molani real quick, sure. I meant for the hit boss. Oh, I know it's gonna work. The boss is like... the top of the boss's hitbox is higher than where you're standing. Chaska doesn't work. I don't know if that's true. Because, like, I could see a world where, like... because I don't know how much they tested this, but I could see a world where... like, if you do this, we'll go up a little. No, actually... no, never mind. Because you can't go up and down, like, while you're charging. And charging takes more than 1.5 seconds. That actually... yeah, that's okay, never mind then. Is this a Nivinet plunge vape angle? I mean, it might be. You know? Like, you could definitely do plunge vape Nivilet with Mona now, right? Because you don't need to have Xianyun on the team, so you can use Mona. Dude, that would be so fun, actually. I wonder, that probably clears in time, actually. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's keep going. So we also have Chaska, we have Mawika, we have Varessa, Escoffier, Skirk, Inefa, Flynn's. I guess we might as well include Nefer, right? Might as well include Durin Carry as well. Is there anything else we should include, chat? Actually, does Yehuda hold the snapshot? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you can do Yehuda as well. Eh, whatever. PMC? Should we talk about PMC? Maybe we should, honestly. Because maybe there's a world where PMC is actually the, like, go-to free-to-play to clear here. I don't have PMC right now. Okay, let me clean up my tabs a little. Right, because they do get the crit damage to plunge attacks. They get to go Obsidian. Their plunge attacks are average. Like, it should be fine. And without Xianyun interfering with your aura, it's a lot easier to make sure you vape everything. Right? So you could probably do, like, PMC Bennett, Mona, Farina or something. Right? Like, I could see that working. Okay. Let's include PMC as well. All right. So designed for them. We could just put Versa in there, right? Because obviously, this is the fucking Versa shield boss. Sorry. No witch buff. You're right. I'm an idiot. There is no witch buff in that team. So maybe you just don't go Mona. Just go Shilonen instead. Meh. Yeah, I guess you don't need Bennett. That's true, actually. But who else would you want? Because you're not going to be able to get a Pyro Swirl with Sucrose. But I guess it might still be Sucrose. Because it's a lot of EM and damage percent, right? It's not that much damage percent, but it's a lot of EM. Albedo. I think Albedo is going to be a problem. Albedo is going to apply Geo, which is going to weaken your Hydro Aura, which is going to lead to the same problem as Xianyun, where you can't really do Pyro MC Plunge with Xianyun, because when you have 3 different sources that can weaken your Hydro, if all 3 of them happen in a row between Hydro applications, your last one will be hitting an enemy that doesn't have Aura. And if that last one is Pyro, you start getting a Pyro Aura and you start losing out on Vapes, which is kind of cooked. Plunge Mona angle. I thought about that too. I guess we might as well include it, right? Plunge carry Mona should actually be really good, right? What about charge attack Barbara? No. If you play Barbara, you play Plunge Barbara, not charge attack Barbara. Plunge Mona with that dash? Yeah, I know. But it's fine. It is what it is. Just don't dash. Plunge Escoffier. You could do that, yeah. You know what? Plunge Escoffier would actually go fucking hard. Right? Because you can do Escoffier, Seat Lolly. Maybe not, actually. Because needing Bennett kind of cooks you a little. Because Bennett is really, like, not ideal for this. Because you're already getting, like, 5 Bennetts from the attack buff, right? So ideally, you'd rather run characters that don't need the infusion from Bennett and that can get infusion from something else. You know, I wonder if Inefa's EM buff from her Ascension passive will actually count the 600 attack. It might. Because it's not capped. So, like, on-field overvape Inefa with Plunge could pop the fuck off. You know? The attack converts to EM, yeah. Because, like, not only is she increasing the attack, but she's also increasing her own EM. So, like, carrying Nefa might be really fucking good for this boss. Anyways, let's talk about the like plungers. Alright, so the characters that, like, by default, already have some playstyles that involve plunge attacks, and where this boss allows them to free up the Shanyon slot for something else, right? So characters like Diluc, for example. The thing is, I don't know if Diluc is even going to be that good here, right? I guess being able to run double cryo is actually a big deal, right? Can't Flynn's just get the buff just by jumping? From what I've heard, and from what I've seen, I don't think the buff lasts long enough for it to affect the burst damage if you burst after a jump. But apparently, if you burst before a jump, you can jump quickly enough that you get the buff before your second hit of burst deals damage, and it does affect the second hit of burst. So jumps for buff aren't a big DPS loss. Flynn's can't plunge, so why are you guys saying that as if that matters? You don't get the buff from plunging, you get the buff from jumping. You don't need to plunge. Yeah, so we can put Flynn's here, right? Doesn't the boss one-shot you if you don't plunge? You can plunge after your uptime is over, during your next setup. You don't need to be plunging every second, as far as I understand. You just need to do a plunge here and there, right? Isn't falling longer than plunging? A little bit, but who cares? Oh no! You're gonna be missing out on like 2 normal attacks on Flynn's. That's so sad and tragic and unfortunate. All of his damage is gone. Whatever shall you do? Like, yeah. be so for real right now. Okay. So, yeah, we can include Flynn's here. We can include Fischl, right? I think Razor goes here too, right? Just play him as a pyro carry. Razor doesn't need 2 witches for C6 buff, so you can do melt. There's that too. Yeah. Plunge Neuvillette. Bro, okay. I feel like Plunge Neuvillette is actually good here, but I don't know if I'm delusional. But, like, I feel like it should be. You know? Plunge Milani, you can do that too. What's the difference between Plunge Neuvillette and other Hydrocatalyst plungers? There isn't any. But I think Barbara Plunge can also clear this. Milani Plunge animation, is it bad? I don't know if I've ever looked at it. No, it's funny.
Seize the skies.
Oh, yeah.
Ho!
Check whose motion value is higher. I think they're going to be the same. Yeah, they're both 261. Who's got the better base stats? Neuvillette has more base attack. Yeah, none of these matter, right? And you can't use Codex because you won't have good uptime on it. And Neuvillette can get more stacks of Leno. So Neuvillette will just be a lot better. Mona. Yeah, Mona, I think, might struggle a little bit because of the end lag, right? You won't be able to dash cancel your end lag,
Make way for
right? Because, like, if you don't dash cancel the end lag, it's just a lot slower. But if you do on Mona, it's way worse, right? Yeah, you don't want to do that shit. If you get a buff just by jumping, why not do that before your rotation on any character? The buff lasts for 1.5 seconds. Plunge Seat Lolly, but what's the upside of Plunge Seat Lolly? Like, the animation looks good. I like it. Like, I'm probably gonna do it for fun, but like, what's good about it? Nothing. Getting reverse melt instead of forward melt? That's bad. That's actively bad. You don't want that. EM Ascension side instead of crit is worse. That's all that happens, too. Are you supposed to plunge solely on Hydro Catalyst to wait for power application? That's assuming you need to have Shannon on the team. And you need to have an attack buffer on the team. But you don't need either of these. So you can run, like, Neuvillette, Maoika, Shangling, Shilonen, right? Yes, this is a plunge Neuvillette team. It doesn't look like one, but it is. Can you calc it? I am so down to calc it right now. I gotta figure out the rotations, though. Kind of have to be here to test this. Witchcrafting? Listen, this might not be witchcrafting, but it is definitely witchcraft. So, like, I think you can give me a pass, yes? You can also
Yeah,
do like
let's
Durin Mona instead. That would probably work too. Should double check that my Shanling has enough ER. So I can get the burst back without a problem. So you would probably have Malika on Cinder City, Shilonen on Instructor, right? And you do something like this.
Pyroclastic surge.
You're toast! I'm the right here.
We'd only get about 10, huh? Hmm. I'll be right back, John. I'm back. Hello.
Many insects.
Let's say for now you just get 10. Yeah. Let's take a look at our damage. Is Gumming worth leveling for this Sigin Onslaught? I don't know. If you don't have MC6, no. But I want to check the alternatives you have. What else do we need? We need crit value, crit multiplier. Yeah. So base attack on Neuvillette is 208. Attack percent. Or sorry. Weapon, we'll go Witsith. Attack percent. So we go Neuvillette, Shangling, Maoika, Shilonen. I want to take a look at the team without the buff and with it. So first without. So what do we have? We have 40 or 25% from Power Resonance, 20 from Substats, 20 from Witsith. You will go attack sends without the attack buff. Is that it? Think so. With the attack buff, you go EM sends. Anyways, damage percent, we'd have Witsith, Goblet, Leno, 4-stack average-ish. Cinder City. Is that it? Any other sources of damage percent? I don't think so. EM, 80 from Witsith, 80-ish from substats. 120 from Shilonen, but it won't be full uptime, so like 80 average-ish from Shilonen. Crit value. Crit Ascension. Witsith. This squared divided by 8 plus 1. Effective attack. Motion value. 261 times 2 times 10. Alright, so without the attack buff, this is pretty pathetic. With the attack buff, we lose the attack sands. We get 600% attack. We gain an EM sands. Yeah. Why times 2? Because it's vape. Yeah. Is that enough? And keep in mind, this is KQM standard investment. Is like the whole team, including the rest of the team, is going to be like 115 maybe, right? 115 probably. Well, it's close, honestly, right? Because like it's basically just enough, assuming everything goes right and you never fuck up. So in practice, it won't be. But this is KQM standard, and people that are at Sijin level investment are generally higher than KQM standard, right? So I do think it's very doable. If you don't have a Leno, I guess you go Gilded, right? If you so Gilded Dreams for people who don't have a Leno, we lose the 85 damage percent. We gain 230 EM. It's a pretty big difference. Yeah. It's a pretty fucking sizable difference, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Aware. Yeah. Can Omega cope with alternative builds? Sucks. So let's put the characters that suck at it here. So Shanling can't snapshot anything. Ganyu is gonna suck ass. Shao goes here. Klee probably goes here, right? Should be all right. Actually, I'm actually really curious. How good is my Plunge Neuvillette build now? Alright. Do I have a better Sans? Because my Sans doesn't have EM, right? Yeah. Okay, I don't. We definitely would use this. Meh. Do I have anything with EM here? I do. This has EM as well. Hmm. This is an 8 roller, but the roll value is pretty low. This is a 7 roller with much higher roll value. I'm not sure which one is better. This one's probably better, honestly. Did I have anything with EM here? I did. But a bunch of the rolls are attack on this one, so I don't know how happy I am with it. And it's an 8 roller. Like, practically, it's kind of a 6 roller. This one might be better. Hmm. Okay, why... Yeah. It's gonna be one of those. Then... Goblet, I don't have an on-piece. So I'd have to go off-piece. And then... Circlet. This is actually really bad for this one. I could go crit rate, maybe. That's not very good. So I guess I'd just go for this one. It's not even that good, honestly. That looks really good. Am I capped? No. I'm not capped even if I go Lost Prayers now. Yeah. That seems like a pretty good build. But no, because the attack sense is bad. I need the EM sense for sure. But I don't think I have a good one. How do I not have a single good EM sense, by the way? Isn't that crazy? I was in this domain for so long. I have double crit on every main side except EM. Cooked. Yeah. I guess I'd still just go for this, but it's not very good, even though it's my best piece. Craft one. True! You're onto something, actually. Alright. Well, that is what it is. Anyways, Hu Tao probably goes here. Right. Maybe she goes here. I don't know. The thing is, she doesn't benefit as much from the attack buff as other characters do. Because she's already saturated on attack and her base attack is low. Can this fraud actually beat this boss? It doesn't have physical res. You get to have Xianyun without needing Xianyun. Maybe. I can see a world where she does. But the fact that she can't build EM means that she's forced into building attack on a bunch of stuff. And attack does nothing, right? Oh, yeah, unless you just go Pyro. But, like, yeah, at that point is just... Yeah, it just goes here, right? I guess Razor would probably be here too, honestly. I don't know why I had Kazuha here, honestly. Ayaka won't work. Could you do Plunge Ayaka, maybe? I mean, I guess you could, but she's got the same problem as Mona with the alternative dash. Which kind of screws her over a little. C0 Xiao without Xianyun is enough for Fearless. Xianyun will not be ideal for, honestly. Yeah. This probably goes here too, if we're being fully honest. Xianyun probably would not be used with Xiao. In that against that boss, right? You definitely do Xiao Farazan, but then probably. Actually, I don't know, because you need a healer. So maybe you still go Xianyun. But like none of the healers are good. Because both Bennett and Xianyun provide buffs that don't do shit. Jane? Yeah, I guess you do. I guess you would actually just go Jane. Yeah. If you have C4. Otherwise, you probably still go Xianyun, but you're not happy about it. Venti? Then you can't do Farina, but you could do Durin Venti. Sure. It's just, I feel like most people will use Durin for the second boss, not the third one. Venti Mona. You know what? I can see that. Yeah. Xiao Farazan Venti Mona. You get enough healing that it doesn't feel awful. To get Xiao's HP consumption. It's not a lot of healing, but it's at least enough to make up for the HP consumption from his burst with Proto Ember. I think a very cracked Xiao can do Fearless barely. I think it's better than you guys give it credit for. Like, Xiao isn't good, but 600% attack is a fucking massive amount. Like, it's such an insane amount. Right, if you do, like, Xiao, Farazan, Venti, Mona, right? I guess Deathmatch is kind of a little cooked for him, but it's still where you go. That's fine. It might be a Blacklift pole angle, actually. Right, but like, it's not like he's got a better stance than attack. Honestly, maybe you just go ER at that point. Maybe that's the play. Just go ER, because it's not like 46.6% more attack does anything. But whatever. For now, we look at this. So we got Leno. We got, what's Farazan on here? TOM. Venti on Scroll. Probably. Why not Farina instead of Venti? I don't think it's enough healing, but also Venti gives a 50% damage to Xiao now, which is about as much as what Farina gives. And he helps with his energy requirements more than Farina does. So Venti's probably better here. Then I guess Mona and Noblesse, not that the 20% attack does anything, but whatever. So TOM, Noblesse, substats, Deathmatch. And then 600 for fun. Damage percent. We have 95.2. 85 average from Leno. Scroll. Goblet. Venti. Farazan. Yeah, I guess you'd probably give her a healing set instead of Noblesse here, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, we don't have any EM. Crit value, 98.4, 62.2. Honestly, Magatose might be better than Leno for this one. It probably is, because we have so much damage percent. I didn't even include Mona. Like, 50% average. Yeah. It's definitely Magatose over Leno. Anyway, 62.2. Although, maybe it's too hard to do that on Deathmatch. Whatever. Let's keep him on Leno for now. 40 from Farazan. 36.8 times 2 from Deathmatch. $375 times about 10. You might be able to do more, but honestly, 10 for now is fine. Collision plunge, let's say you get like 3. So like, very conservative estimate. Shao at 115k here. Realistically, you probably have more than that. Like, 600% attack is a lot, man. Because, like, without it, he's at 2200 attack. With it, he's at 7000. You know? And we were really pessimistic with assumptions. So I don't think Shao's going to struggle to clear this. Where does the 600 come from? It's what the boss gives to plungers. Anyways. Raiden. No, don't do this shit to yourself. I guess it's fine, actually. The reason why Xianyan isn't good with Raiden isn't because her plunges are bad, it's because Raiden's plunges aren't counted as plunges. So they don't activate the A4 buff from Xianyan. But you don't have an A4 buff from Xianyan to care about anymore. So I guess Raiden will be fine here. It's not really an alternative build. It's probably just here. Just because the character is here, by the way, doesn't mean it's better than characters that are here. There's just like different categorizations, I guess. Can Shelly not snapshot the buff? No. Shelly snapshots at the end of her animation, not at the start, so you lose the buff before snapshot happens. Fischl snapshots at the start of her animation, so Fischl gets to snapshot it. Fischl burst snapshots when you swap out, but it's probably possible to do jump, plunge, burst, and then immediately swap out and still get the buff. Can make Shelly jump onto a Zhongli pillar? No, because it's not about being high up, apparently. It's about reaching high up. So if you stay high, it still expires after 1.5 seconds. If you land on a pillar, can you finish using burst in time? Probably not. Even with 32 months. Air. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. Air Fanny Lamaz, probably Kluge. Thank you for the tier 1 nuclear spider. Yo. Honestly, maybe I should rework the categories a little. Right. So rotations already plunge. Plunges are good, and you free up the Xianyun slot. Plunges are bad, but they can jump for the attack buff. Right? Probably something like this. How would Raiden work? You just plunge spam. It's not great, but that's just Raiden, right? Why can't you use Kirk's kill and plunge? Is Kirk in any of the categories so far? No, she's not. We'll get to Skirk later. Plunges may or may not be good, but the boss has a lot of geo resistance. Lamau. There we go. Raiden can do it 3 N1 CP. I don't think you want an N1 CP. I think you want an N1P. Because I'm pretty sure you lose the attack buff by the time the charge attack goes off. And a charge attack that isn't buffed by the attack buff is going to be worse than spending your time doing something else. Yai unironically goes here. Yai is probably a much better carry than Raiden for this boss. Why are Razor's plunges bad? It's not that his plunges are bad. It's that doing plunges on him is not going to be a part of his optimal combos. Right? You will do them here because the attack buff is worth it, but if you didn't get the attack buff, you wouldn't do them. Ayato. Yeah, that goes here. Is Flynn's mini burst considered a plunge attack? No. But again, you don't need to plunge. You need to reach a certain height. Flynn's can capitalize on this buff by jumping after his mini burst, which allows him to get the attack buff for the second half of his mini burst. The second hit is delayed, and apparently you can get the attack buff before the second hit happens if you jump right after your mini burst. Ganyu jump post charge attack might work just like Skirk. Yeah, but it's not gonna matter because she's too fucking dog shit. Charge bow user charge attacks aware. But maybe. Maybe. Not enough time for Flins if you jump before the mini burst? No. Alright, Sino. I'm actually not sure. What's the motion value in Sino's plunges and burst? 293. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Probably do this then. Wanderer goes in the sucks category. I guess I should have a different category for this. Right? Nah, not really. Because I'm pretty sure against that boss, the best Alhaitham build is going to be, like, plunge Alhaitham. Like, attack focused. Like, Pyro Alhaitham is probably better. Okay, so we'll put him in here. Nah, we won't. Whatever. Linny. Okay, Linny's stuff actually snapshots. So you straight up just can't make anything work. Risley. Huh. I wonder about Risley, actually. Like, how would N1 CJP work? I'm pretty sure the C wouldn't be buffed, right? So it's probably just N1 JP. I mean, that's better than default Risley, that's for sure. I'll tell you that much. So it probably goes here. Nevillet goes here. I actually do think that the Hydro Catalysts will be able to brute force. What about the Pyro Catalysts? Character like Yunfei, for example. Maybe. I'm not sure. Probably. Navia. Honestly, I think Navia probably can get it. If you don't hold E, you just tap it. Oh, wait, never mind. I forgot. It's Geo. My bad. Alright, Xianyun goes in the sucks category. Xianyun really sucks against this boss, because allowing you to plunge doesn't do anything, and Xianyun doesn't get the attack buff. So she's going to represent such a small portion of your team's DPS through the buff. So she's actually pretty bad here. If you're going to be bringing an Animo unit because you want VV, you're better off using Sucrose. Only reason to use her is if you need a healer. Alright, Gumming. Probably goes here. The biggest problem I'm thinking of right now with Gumming is that cooked energy. No, I think that's fine. Because you don't have Bennett anymore. You don't need to have Bennett anymore. So you're not, like, gated to shorter rotations anymore. Gumming generally swaps out before he needs to in his optimal rotations, which makes you need more ER. Alright, like, you'd probably do Gumming. I wonder if you'd do a Mona team, actually. Gumming, Shilonen, Mona, Albedo? No, Mona's not enough Hydro. What if Venti? What if we Hydro infuse Venti? As a way to get our vapes on Gumming. The boss probably won't move that much. And Venti is apparently gonna start having the center of the black hole on the enemy's next patch. So maybe Venti's actually good. I guess Gumming does consume his own HP and heal, so you could also use Farina even without a healer. Why not Melt? You could also just do Melt. Like Gumming, Sitlali, whatever the fuck else, honestly. Escoffier, sure. Sucrose, sure. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, Gumming's gonna have good stuff. I feel like the more plunges from Vape would be better. It would only be better if you actually can capitalize on more plunges, which you can't do unless you you get Bennett on him. You're just looking at the E plunges with juggling, you only get like 1 or 2 more with Vape than with Melt. So you're better off just using Melt. And if you really want to get more, just bring a second Cryo. You'll be able to get more with Melt still. Only reason to bring Vape would be if you want to use Mona, because Mona's really fucking good now. I have a hard time representing to myself the impact of plus 600 attack. Let's say on a Gumming team, does it double/triple his damage? Close to triple, yeah. Anyways, Arlecchino. Arlecchino's probably here. It's fine to do plunges on her. It's not ideal, but it's fine. Chlorine goes in here. You do not want to jump on Chlorine. Emily goes in here. She doesn't snapshot. Kanich goes in here. He can't take advantage of it at all. Sethos goes in here. Molani goes in the Nividet tier for sure. She can also cope with an alternative build. He can probably make it work. Chaska, no. Mawika. You know, I wonder if Maika's best team against that boss is just gonna be no bike Maika. Or like you burst as part of your setup for the damage percent, and then you just stay in the non-bike form. Cause like the plunge attacks in bike form aren't buffed by burst, and they do 293, which is less than what it does outside of the bike. So just like Diluc. Yeah, like she'd basically just be a better Diluc. Because she'd be like Diluc, but she'd have additional damage from her skill every 2 seconds. And better base stats and Obsidian Codex. Right? Burst into bike dismount is really funny. I agree, it is really funny. Does Codec work if she's not in bike mode? As long as the E is going, it does, yeah. No way you can react all hits with her E hitting. You can vape them. And Mona's so fucking good that vape is, like, honestly not really worse than melt if you're gonna be doing plunges. Wonder what you'd do for the last slot, right? Because or I guess the last 2 slots. Probably want Farina for more Hydro, because I don't know if Mona's enough. Then ideally you'd want a healer, I guess, but you need to activate Mona passive, so maybe that's not ideal. Oh yeah, you need Bennett, that's true. So you can't use Farina. Candace. You could actually use Candace instead of Bennett and do Hydro Reacted instead. Well, let's just put it here, because like it's not you should not be playing Molani against that enemy, or Maika against that enemy, just like Molani and just like Nivea. But you probably can clear with them if you want to. Okay, Escoffier sucks. Well, no, because you can do carry Escoffier, and carry Escoffier is probably really good, actually. Like, Escoffier, Citlali, Bennett, Shilonen? Probably pops the fuck off. Yeah, it's probably really fucking good. But yeah, you probably want to use Skirk. Well, not necessarily, because like, if you look at the Sidon Onslaught lineup, for people that have Nefer and Skirk, you don't want to use either of them on these two bosses. Both of them are pretty bad against these two bosses. Both of them are only good against the first boss. So if you have Nefer against this Sigil Onslaught, Skirk's value is like near 0. Or the other way around, right? But like you can only play one of, like, realistically you only really want to play one of those two if you have both against the next Sigil Onslaught. So like Escaffier carry being an actual thing is very relevant here, I think. I think the biggest problem is that it only works with Bennett C6, right? Like all the other ones, you can kind of cope with well, actually, would it even be bad with Chongyun? Like Mono Cryo? Escaffier Chongyun. What else? Like, how bad could that really be? It's probably fine, honestly. Shangling? No. No. We're not talking about Melt now. We're talking about just, like, Mono Cryo. Melt, I don't think will work well with that. Your app is going to be finicky as hell. Shenhe? Wait, is it a Shenhe angle? It might be. Because, like, you don't care about any sort of attack buffs. You only care about damage and crit buffs. And you have Farina that gives you that, but you don't really have another Hydro or Cryo other than Shenhe that gives you that as well, right? So it probably is Shenhe last slot. If you're trying to do that. Escoffier? We're talking about Escoffier carry right now. Seat Lally? Seat Lally doesn't really do anything in those teams. GDDS doesn't do shit. I guess you can try to get your Cinder City, but, like, at that point, just fucking use Maloney. Straight up. Mono won't have any uptime, so it won't be very good. Could do Candace instead of Chongyun, right? And then Seat Lali's good. It's like Escaffier Candace. No, because then you don't. Wait, no, yeah. Escaffier Candace, Seat Lali, Farina. God, what am I saying? What are these words coming out of my mouth right now? I need to calc this, actually. Escoffier and this. Oh, but the problem is if we're hydro infusing, it means the our goblet is kind of cooked, right? Because we can't go for something that buffs both our plunges and our off field damage, right? That's a little annoying, huh? Attack Goblet won't work. You're at 7,000 attack already. Attack Goblet ain't doing shit for you, man. EM Goblet, we're not reacting. Okay, let's look at both Candace, Seat Lali, Farina, and Chongyun, Molani, Farina. Right? What about Shenhe? You could do Shenhe as well. It'll be pretty similar, I think, to Molani. The quills don't get buffed by the attack, so it's not that much, unfortunately. Anyways, I'm not gonna calc the whole team DPS. I'm just gonna calc. I'm just gonna calc. Words are hard when I'm also trying to be productive. I'm just gonna calc her personal DPS. Ugh. Okay. Candace doesn't buff plunge attacks, right? So our sets would be probably Blizzard Strayer. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. We can't get Blizzard Strayer. I guess we don't have a good set here, right? So we probably just go Leno. Oh no, we can go Marshall Say for Gore. You guys are right. I'm an idiot. Seat Lolly on what's it called? Fucking yeah. Scroll. Farina on it doesn't actually matter. Let's just do TOM. Candace on Noblesse. Sure. So it's gonna be a base attack. $347. What weapon would we go here? Can we do deathmatch? Not really. Too much crit rate, I think. With Marie Jose and crit ascension and potentially cryo resonance too. Deathmatch won't work. So do we just go Blacklift Bowl? Is that like pretty much our only option? Because we don't want an attack weapon. And we don't want something that has too much crit rate. And there is no damage percent focused polearm that I can expect people to have. So I think it's straight up just Blacklift Pole. That's funny. Is it a 510 or 565? It's 510, right? Yeah, 510. So attack percent, substats, noblesse, TOM, Sans. I'll also actually need a third one of these, right? Oh, of these actually. The attack 3, motion value 3, damage 3. Okay. I guess you probably don't bother with a TTDS here. Probably better off going sack frag for Escafie EO requirements. Damage percent, cryo. I think cryo goblet will be better than a hydro, but it'll be really close. Right, because the skill hits for 204 every second. The plunges are 293 every like.
And humans are
1 point something seconds, I guess. I don't know. Maybe hydro is better. They're gonna be so similar. Why is this song still on slow mode? Do you guys want me to put Potion Seller back on normal speed? No? Okay. Well, you have spoken and I have listened. Attack Outlet? No, that will definitely be worse.
Stray clouds converge.
Yeah, it's like every 1.5 seconds-ish. Yeah, so Cryo Goblet is going to be better then. Okay. Damage percent for Cryo is going to be 46.6. Scroll. Farina. It's 40% from Scroll. I'm an idiot. Is that it? I think so. And then for Hydro, we just don't have the Goblet. Crit value, 98.4, 62.2, 20 times 6.6. Blackcliff Pole, Maréchaussée. Effective attack 1. Effective attack 2. Effective attack 3. Motion value 1. How long is our uptime here? 12 seconds? Probably. Does Candace allow you 12 seconds? She does, right? Yep. So 204 times 12 plus 85.7 plus 57.1. No, we only get about 10 hits. Because while our uptime is this... Well, actually, do we just burst as part of the setup instead? Right, like Farina EQ, Escoffier EQ, Candace EQ, Citlali EE, swap to Escoffier, start plunging. Yeah, probably. So I think 12 is fine. We don't have the initial cast here. Then for this, motion value 2. This is the Hydro, this is the plunges. Should get like 9-ish, 8 to 9. 293. Let's be conservative with our assumption. Let's say 8. And then 3 collision plunges. You guys really want me to skip this song, huh? Then 85.7. 57.1. 1007.8. And 204 times 7. Our shred is just the 55 from Escoffier here, so it's 1.225. And then with Citlali for the hydro damage, it's 0.325. So this would be her personal DPS with Candace if you do hydro plunges. And then with Chongyun cryo plunges, we still have scroll, we still have noblesse, still have 2M. Everything else is the same, but we just have Chongyun Molani instead of Candace Citlali. So You guys are really wasting your points, huh? We don't have this anymore. We have... We don't have this. We don't have any hydro motion value, but all of these are now cryo motion value during uptime. And then our shred, we now have Chongyun shred, which I think a lot of people don't know is the thing. But it probably isn't great uptime, so let's say this. With this, you can probably do shorter rotations because of the cooldown reduction from Chongyun. So this should be better. This should be better, yeah. Skirk doesn't shred like Escoffier does. But you can. Right? Instead of Molani in this slot, you lose a Cinder City buff, and you on-field Skirk. But the thing is, with Skirk, or with Escoffier, it's not just the plunges that are getting the 600% attack buff. It's also all of the skill hits that happen while you're on-field plunging that are getting this attack buff. Skirk's plunges are just average, right? They're just like everyone else's. And if you're not taking advantage of what her kit actually does, like, what the fuck are you doing with Skirk? Why use her over anyone else? Why use Skirk over Chongyun at that point, you know? You can plunge with her skill? Yeah. Have you seen the damage of her plunge attack in skill? $293. $293. It's the same. This doesn't buff plunges. Oh, true, actually. You do get +1 talent level. Caught. You got me. Caught. +1 talent level. Caught. Surely that makes up for, you know, all of Escoffier's plus 600% attack skill damage. Right? You could, I guess, do like not bring an Infuser. Bring Escoffier plus Skirk. But I don't think that's better. Because it's not like Skirk does more damage than Escoffier does if you're plunging on her, right? They do the same damage. But now you're not buffing your Escoffier damage anymore. You can do some burst mode Skirk though, but that requires using Chongyun if you want to also get cryo hits. And I don't know if that's worth it. Although to be fair, right? This is like pretty similar to just normal Skirk, right? So normal Skirk might just be able to brute force it without plunging at all. So maybe like you still bring Skirk, but like I don't know. I don't know. The real issue is my talent level 11 Skirk E to my talent level 1 Escoffier normal attack. Fair, actually. But I think the best Skirk team is probably going to be Skirk, Escoffier, Chongyun, Farina, where you burst and then immediately jump to try to get as much of your burst to benefit from the 600% attack, and then you start doing cryo-infused plunges from Chongyun. But because you would want to use the big burst, you have to bring Chongyun. But Chongyun still does a nice amount of a nice amount for your team, right? Because like he's competing with the fucking dog shit last slots in these teams, anyways. Can Skirk get a buff 10-2? I don't know. Like, if she could, maybe it's better, but I don't fucking know, man. Anyways, let's finish this, right? We don't have too many characters left. Skirk probably goes here. You can probably make something work, but it's not gonna feel great. Inefa? Okay, if it works the way I think it does, right? And the 600% attack that Inefa gets dynamically increases the EM buff from her Ascension passive. Inefa Overvape might be the GOAT. But I don't know if it does. Even if it doesn't, it's going to be pretty good, though. At worst, it's here. Because, like, Inefa on Deathmatch is... Yeah, sure. Let's say Deathmatch. Like, a low estimate, right? At around 800 attack, 600% of that is almost 5,000, right? And 6% of 5,000 is 300. So, like, you basically get plus 300 EM from the 600% attack, assuming it works like I think it does. Which affects not only plunges if you want to vape her, but also your lunar charge damage. So, like, yeah. Oh. Oops. Oh, did I get baited? No, I didn't. It was actually me. But I'm on streamer mode. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay, Nefer sucks. Derwin. Yeah, Durin's gonna be great with this, right? But I don't know if his plunge spam is better than his charge attack spam. It probably isn't, so he probably goes here. Still great though, right? But yeah. Pyro MC. Pyro MC goes here, I think. Shouldn't Glowna be in a different tier since she's the best Fischl driver and Fischl can snapshot? Meh. Maybe. Maybe you're onto something, but I don't know. And then Mona probably goes here as well. Or maybe he goes here, actually. Hmm. I think the biggest problem with that is like I'm pretty sure at that point Chlorine is a downgrade over like bringing another support to buff your official. So I'm not convinced. So what's the best choice for people that don't have the rest of the Sharigami? I mean, I'm not sure because it kind of depends on how the timing lines up for a lot of these things. I'm not sure about in this category, but like most likely, I think Skirk will probably be able to brute force it. Um, otherwise, you can probably make do with most catalysts, honestly, in teams that like make sense for them. A character like Yai in a Shore's team, any of these in either a Vape team or even maybe an Escoffier team, like you're probably fine. Meh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh well. Actually, I don't know. How good would Klee be? Do you even want to burst with Klee? Maybe you don't. Maybe you just don't burst and you do forward melt Klee. That'd be really funny. I guess Klee enables Mona too, so you don't need to go for a witch support, which is nice. What if the play is like Mona on Proto Amber, Farina, Singto, and you do use burst and do like a fuck ton of Hydro, hopefully Vape Klee. With normal gameplay, but where you plunge after your jump cancels. I'll be right back. I'm back. Hello. Okay, chat. Is it time? Is it time to record Klee? I love how most people said no. Yeah. Chat, have you guys been appreciating the fact that I've been procrastinating this whole time? You know, part of me was feeling guilty about all the procrastination I've done. But, like, were you guys actually, like, glad that I was procrastinating all along? That's really annoying. Literally no one wants the Klee stuff. Damn. Bro.
It's justice o'clock.
Unlucky.
Add astro.
Bro's cosplaying Alice right now. That's fucking crazy.
Add astro. Thank you for add astro.
Okay. Chat. I think it's time. Is Klee really the third best pyro carry now? It depends on how much you stretch the definition of a pyro carry, I think. Because if you're looking at, like, carries that are pyro, right? You have Maoika, Arlecchino, Lenny, Gaming, Yoimiya, I guess, Hu Tao, I guess, Klee, Yanfei, Diluc, Xiangling, like, whatever, Bennett, maybe.
Ow.
Durin, when he comes out, right? Top two are going to be Maoika, Durin. Third one probably isn't Klee. Like, as much as the Klee is better than Arlecchino thing is funny, Arlecchino is better than Klee.
Benny's adventure team, assemble! Or not. Ow!
Nicole will apply 5U cryo every second and make Klee the best pyro carry. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think 5U cryo every second would be enough for Klee. 5U cryo is 3 pyro reactions,
Assemble!
right? Singto is 2 every time he applies Hydro, and he applies Hydro on average way faster than once per second. And he's not nearly enough for Klee.
Ow! Where did that come from?
So, like, yeah. Anyways, her C1 average hit rate was about 30%, right? Or was it 25%? I think it was 25%, but it hits for 120% of the burst number, so I multiplied the burst number by 30%, right? I think that's what it was. Anyways, chat. Everyone say hi to YouTube. Did I put a marker down? I don't know. Wait, let me try again just in case. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Hi to the 5th video in the series of witchcrafting videos where we go over all of the Hexen Circle characters that are getting buffed next patch with Durin's release. So, very, very, very short summary of what the witch buffs are. 7 characters plus Durin are now considered to be Hexarray characters. I'll be calling them witches because 1, it's easier to say, and 2, it's funnier. So we have Mona, Albedo, Klee, Venti, Sucrose, Fischl, and Razor. All of these characters are getting buffs, and the buffs they're getting, some of the buffs are buffs in general that you get no matter what, and some of the buffs will only be activated when you have 2 witch characters on the team. Durin's kit also has a part of it that is only activated when you have 2 witches on the team. Klee was released in 1.0. She was the first non-Archon limited character we had. And I'd say that out of the like very early characters, she's probably the one that like aged the most in the most like stable manner. Klee was never that good, but she was also never that bad in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, pretty much every old carry when Natlan Power Creep kicked in started looking really pathetic. But like outside of that, she really held up for a pretty long time because she wasn't like that good on release. But there wasn't much that was good on release, right? The best team was fucking Shining National. And it stayed that way for a while. And then after her release, they started giving her a bunch of like indirect buffs with unit releases and other things that have helped her, right? Initially there was a Kazuha release that gave her some better mono teams. Later on we had the Farina release that gave her some better like weird forward/reverse vape teams, and which allowed her to go for an artifact set that wasn't complete ass. It was Emilie, which was kind of the same thing, right? Allows her to go for an artifact set that isn't complete ass. Chevars, which just made or gave pyro characters more team options as a whole. But the main reason why Klee wasn't that good on release is because on release we didn't have a lot of characters that synergized with pyro carries that wanted to do something other than Vapor Melt. Transformative damage numbers got buffed a lot since 1.0. Back in 1.0 they were a lot lower. So building teams around like Overload or something, like the reaction damage itself, was even worse than it is now. And it's not even that good now anyways, so yeah. And we didn't have all the like specific units like Chaveurs, for example, that allowed those archetypes to be good despite the reaction not doing that much damage. And the problem with Klee is that the speed of her pyro application is just too fast. Klee has multiple different sources of pyro application. She has normal attacks, she has charge attacks, she has skill, she has burst. The thing is, her skill applies so much goddamn pyro. God, it is so much pyro. But it's not just her skill. Her burst does too. And the rate of your application is pretty inconsistent. It's not like every X amount of seconds. And that leads to it being really difficult to reliably have Klee be the trigger for reactions. There are teams where you still try to do that, but you generally have to go out of your way to make that favorable. The buffs that she's getting do not address that issue. It's pretty clear to me at this point that they want Klee's identity to be that of a carry that isn't really focusing on Vapor Melt. So let's walk you guys through what the buffs are. The first buff is actually very good if you are somehow getting reactions on Klee, because it significantly buffs a part of her kit that doesn't have ICD. But it also makes it happen more often, which increases her elemental application, which is not good for that. Anyways, so the first buff, this is, I believe, the only part of her kit that is always going to be active, or the only part of the buffs that is always going to be active, whether or not you have witches. Currently, Klee's passive allows her to get an explosive spark whenever her skill or normals deal damage. And when she has an explosive spark, her next charge attack doesn't cost stamina and deals more damage. That passive will be the same. However, she will now have the ability to store more than one explosive spark at a time. That means that instead of it being, if you do one normal attack, you have a 50% chance of having it. Then you have to pay attention to whether or not you get it if you want to play optimally. And so most of the time you just don't pay attention to that because it's kind of too difficult to reactively use it when you get it. And you just do enough normal attacks that you're guaranteed to get it, or you just use your charge attack anyways. Allowing her to store 3 means that if you get, you get it generated twice in a row, which will happen very often when she casts skill, because her skill has 11 hits, right? 3 initial bounces into 8 mines. Actually, no, I don't think the mines can proc it. Whatever, it's still 3 hits. And then you also have the normal attacks, right? The fact that she can store them means that she will much more reliably be able to get explosive sparks, and this 50% damage will affect a lot more of her charge attacks, while also allowing her to consume a lot less stamina in her charge attack hungry rotations. This is Berkeley as a whole. It's a nice buff. In terms of numbers, that by itself isn't that big of a deal. It's more of a quality of life thing than anything else. But that's not the big part of the buff. The big part of the buff is what happens when she is in a team that has 2 witches. So, when she's in a team that has 2 witches, her normal attack sequence does not reset. Usually, if you do a normal attack, and then you dash, you start again from your first normal attack. But there's a few characters, and it's a bit annoying, because I don't think I have any of them on my account. Like Grizzly, like Ito, where if you dash after the normal attack, the next time you normal attack, you'll do the second one instead of the first one. In Klee's case, it's not just a dash. As far as I understand, her normal attack sequence just doesn't reset ever during her burst. In any case, if she has a spark when doing her third normal attack, she will get a charge attack as a coordinated hit on top of the normal attack without needing to do the animation for it. In other words, if you're just spamming normal attacks, you now get a free charge attack every string. That's pretty good. Something that isn't mentioned anywhere here, but that we have also been told and seen from some of the leaked footage, is that they're also buffing her normal attack animation speed. Things are just going to come out faster now. And the second important part of the witch buffs is, again, when you have the witch resonance, when she deals pretty much any non-charge attack damage, she gains a boom badge. She gains a stack of a thing. Oh, actually, no, sorry. I'm an idiot. Yeah, okay, so when she deals damage with her normal skill or burst, she gains a stack. She can gain 1 stack from each. So if you're getting all 3, you have 3 stacks. But if you don't skill, you don't get the skill stack. If you don't burst, you get the burst stack. Whatever. All right. Those stacks last for 20 seconds. So you basically just need to do at least 1 of each per rotation. And while Klee has those stacks, her charge attack deals increased damage. Wait. Is this only the coordinated one? Am I Cornge? Did they change the wording for this? No, I don't think so. Because this is equivalent to Boom Boom Strike. Is that just the name of her charge attack? Dude, I hate the naming convention for Klee's stuff. Yeah, like... Okay, no. Okay, it's this. Okay. I needed to double check that, but we're fine now. But yeah, so the charge attacks that are buffed by exploding explosive spark, whether it's the coordinated one or not, when you have 3 stacks, just deal 50% more damage. And this is not damage percent, this is just a straight up damage multiplier. 1.5 times more damage. That's a lot. That's a lot. It doesn't buff the charge attacks that you have to spend stamina for when you don't have stacks. So you don't want to do too many charge attacks. But as long as you're getting at least 2 hits of normal or skill per charge attack that you do, it should buff pretty much every charge attack. The more hits you have, the less RNG, less variance there is going to be in your RNG for the spark generation. As a general rule, 3 normal attack string will generate 1.5 stack, and it will consume 1, so it's plus 0.5 per string. You also front load a bunch of stacks from your skill at the start. So you might be able to weave in a few charge attacks in between your normal attack sequences to use up your extra explosive spark. But doing charge attacks that do not have explosive sparks is now a lot worse, because if you don't have the explosive spark, you don't just miss out on the 50 damage percent, you're also missing out on the 1.5 times damage multiplier, which is a pretty big deal. Klee is a character that's available from the Constellation Selector, so changes to her C1 are much more impactful than they would be if she weren't. So let's talk about the C1 changes. C1 right now is something that allows, or that increases her pyro application, which makes it even harder to get her to vape stuff. There are even some teams where the C1 can be a DPS loss because it ruins your reactions. But generally, that doesn't mean it's not worth like activating. It's just that it kind of prevents her from being played in those teams. What the C1 does is it gives her an extra burst hit as a coordinated attack randomly when she deals damage with other abilities. The chance isn't said explicitly here. It works like Echoes, where the chance is low, and then every time you miss, the chance increases as a way to try to, like, normalize the odds of it happening. And it averages out at about 25%. So you basically get 30% of Sparks and Splash's damage as extra damage on every hit she does. That by itself isn't that big of a deal, especially now with the changes. They're increasing her motion value and her damage percent on charge attacks, but not on this. So it's a lot less impactful. But they're also adding something. For 12 seconds after getting the C1 proc, she gains 60% attack. That's a lot of stats. Because Klee is available on the selector, and because her C1 is now actually pretty good, it's a bit difficult to like talk about her either at C0 or at C1. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are at C1 and a lot of people that are at C0. Also, a lot of people that don't have Klee. But, I mean, obviously, if you're watching this video for the sake of understanding more about Klee, that's not really about you. Anyways, the changes to her application, or sorry, the changes to her combos mean that you now want to actually go through the full charge attack. It also means that when Klee doesn't have her burst, she is fucking useless. So you absolutely need to have enough ER to burst every rotation now, right? It used to be that, like, bursting every rotation was good, but there were some teams, especially like vape teams, for example, where if you didn't have burst every rotation, it wasn't that big of a deal. Now you have to burst, no matter what. One interesting about that is that Klee's skill cooldown is 20 seconds, but her burst cooldown is 15. Which means that you could do 15-second rotations, but if you do, you can't exactly get a skill every rotation. The fact that she has 2 charges is really nice for that, though. Just remember, do not use both skills on the first rotation. If you use both skills on the first rotation, you won't have skill on your next rotation if you're doing rotations shorter than 20 seconds. And it's going to be cooked. And your energy is going to be completely ruined. Anyways, they're not changing the C2. The C4, if you trigger it by burst expiring rather than by swapping out, it now deals double damage to, like, give you an incentive to stay on her if you have the C4. C6 gives more damage and like a little bit of damage percent, a little bit of energy, and more coordinated charge attacks, basically. Whatever. These are not modern constellations still, right? Like, yeah. Anyways, Klee still has a few problems, right? Her application does kind of limit the teams where you can play her. But part of that also means that with her limited teams, she also has limited artifact set options because there is no artifact set that's that good on her by default. she is a charge attack user, so you could use Wanderer's True, but she doesn't really react that much, so the EM isn't very good, so it's not that great. Plus, the charge attacks aren't like the large majority of her damage. They're like somewhere between a third and half generally. Because a good portion of her damage is coming from skill, from burst, from normal attacks as well. You could do Lava Walker, but then you realize that Lava Walker is 35 damage percent. That's like barely better than a 2-piece, so it doesn't feel good to use. And the like actual good artifact sets are all very conditional, right? You could use Reverie on her, but you need to have a burning team for that. You could use Whimsy if you give her the Flowing Purity craftable Fontaine Catalyst. You could use Marie-José, but only if you have Farina. Another thing you can use is Shimenawa's. Because Klee actually generates a lot of energy. All right, one of her passives that I think a lot of people just don't know about, because no one knows anything about Klee, let's be honest. Whenever Klee's charge attacks crit, every party member gains 2 energy. And because you're now getting more charge attacks because of the coordinated charge attack hits, they're also generating a bit more energy. If you're playing in like Chevreuse teams, or you have a Fav Chevreuse that can battery a fuck ton of particles into Klee if you want to, you can actually have fairly low ER requirements even on Shimenawa's. And if that's the case, then Shimenawa's is a viable artifact set. It's not amazing, but it's alright. Anyways, the fact that her artifact set options are pretty bad means that despite her lack of synergy with Vape teammates, Farina is still going to be one of the best teammates for her, just because Marie-José is really good. Right? So you'll still be able to do some like forward Vape teams with Farina, where it's not really forward Vape Farina, it's just you're not caring too much about who's triggering the reactions. Just because it allows Klee to go for a set that is not complete dog shit. Otherwise, you're generally just going for one of the options I mentioned earlier, or just 2-piece. And her best teams by default right now look to be the Overload ones, whether you're using Chevreuse or using Durin with Fischl. The Fischl buffs giving her 45% attack. Quite nice. But they're not actually all that much better than the Farina teams, just because Klee's set bonus in those teams is really bad. Once we do get a set that is good on the witches, which I think is very possible, very likely even, once they release the Columbina set, right? I kind of expect the 6.3 artifact sets to be one for Columbina, one for Durin. And if the set for Durin is just for witch characters in general, rather than for witch off-fielders, then Klee might be able to use it. And if she does, then it would make those Pyro teams, those Chevreuse teams or Overload teams, or even Mono Pyro teams, better than the Farina ones. Right now, I wouldn't say they're worse, but I also wouldn't say they're better. I think they're very similar. One nice thing about Klee here is that she's not reliant on Durin. The fact that she herself is a witch means that if you got Klee a long time ago because you just liked her, you started playing in 1.0, whatever, but she's been benched for you for a while because she's not all that good, you don't have to go for a new character to make her work. You can use her with Fischl, Chevreuse Bennett, or something like that, and it works completely fine. It's actually a pretty strong team now. Klee at C1 is a somewhat similar amount of like raw damage output to what Arlecchino can do. Now, she doesn't have a lot of the quality of life that Arlecchino has in terms of being like almost rewarded for fucking up because you consume less Bond of Life, so your next rotation deals more damage, in terms of being able to capitalize on enemies stalling by letting your Bond of Life cook. In order to, anyways, point being, Arlecchino has a lot of like quality of life stuff that doesn't necessarily show up in like damage numbers. But at the very least, just in terms of damage numbers, Klee at C1 is actually going to be pretty similar to Arlecchino. Not C1 Arlecchino, right? We're talking C0 Arlecchino. But because you can get Klee C1 from the selector, then I think it's a fair comparison. At C0, she's going to trail behind a decent amount. But I think for people that are considering getting Klee, well, first of all, if you're doing things mainly for meta, don't. Even Arlecchino to me is like a little shaky of a pull right now, and I think that even at C1 in her best case, she's like similar to Arlecchino without a lot of the upsides. So she's not a character I'd recommend. But like, if you like Klee and you're pulling, you're hoping. You want to get Klee because you like her, but you don't want to you don't want to pull for a character you're not gonna play because they suck. She's not bad, right? And I think it's very likely that if that's your position, you're gonna get her C1 from the selector. If you've just had her for a while and you're considering whether or not you should get her C1 from the selector, you can. If you have Arlecchino, it won't help your account too much. But it also won't be bad to have. It's okay. One nice thing is that it seems like the Klee changes. Also, I just realized I have Fav on Varessa. Nice. It seems like the Klee changes are going to make her combos easier to play. Right? Her current combos involve a lot of canceling, but the fact that they don't allow you to reset your attack string by wall canceling anymore, and that they let you get some charge attacks just as a coordinated attack rather than having to input it, means that there's probably going to be a much lower DPS gain from optimizing her combos, which will make her a lot more approachable to play. A lot easier to play as a whole. But yeah, overall, Klee is going to be a pretty solid character. She's not going to be anything amazing, but she's also going to be, like, relatively meta. A lot of things are getting buffed a lot by the witches and the witch buffs. Durin's release, but also the buffs to all the witches, is bringing a lot of characters up to, like, the 90 to 100k DPS benchmark that was like the early Natlan carries, for example. Something like Kinich. But the thing is, a lot of those carries are also getting buffed above that. All in all, I think Klee's just an okay unit. You can get her if you like her. I wouldn't really recommend her meta-wise, but if you have had her for a while, you'll definitely be able to you know, unbench her, have some fun playing her. In terms of teams, right, I've talked a little bit about teams, but honestly, I would really need to do some testing with the new combos to be sure about how reactions line up if you want to do reaction teams. I'm not too optimistic about it, but maybe. Who knows? Who knows? In any case, I think that's going to do it for this one. Honestly, Klee is probably the character out of the ones that are getting buffed that I am the least knowledgeable about. So there's very likely going to be stuff that I missed. I think Klee is probably the character I hate playing the most in Genshin, because her cancels do not feel good to me at all. It feels very, very clunky. So if you want more, like, detailed information about the Klee buffs, you're probably going to have to wait for actual Clee players like Jamie to make videos about it when they go live. I'll test it out when it goes live properly at the very least, don't get me wrong, but do take this video specifically more so than the others with a slightly bigger grain of salt. Anyways, as usual, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned a thing or two, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube. Alright, chat. Should we stall? I think we can stall. Agreed? I learned nothing, but we stare. Do we pound? Ooh, I don't know about pounding here, right? Like erase? No, it can't be erase. Um No. Grape. Grade. This was a mistake, wasn't it? I'm gonna fuck it up, aren't I? Grave. Okay, thank God. Thank God. Holy shit. Actually, probably Yale. Okay, maybe not, actually. Okay, it's definitely not Yale. My bad. Put. Cap. Covet. Aria. Pen you? Maybe? No? I mean, Pen? I don't. What the fuck is Pen? What the fuck is Penn from Penn and Teller doing as an Ivy League school? Does Penn refer to Pennsylvania here? Feels so weird to have it be PENN. Like, I feel like the second N isn't necessary. Whatever. Whatever. Angle in one. Yes, yes. That's larger than 30, I think. Maybe like 33-ish. So that's 147, I think. Actually, no, it's more than that. Or it's less than that. It's not quite a 45. I think it's above 40 actually. Like 41. So 139. Let's try 139. I was wrong. What the fuck? I should have gone with my fucking initial instinct. I said 147 at first, didn't I? It was 146. Whatever. It's fine. That was a really bad one. Jesus Christ. I suck. The hell is this, bro? Is that like Dr. Stone or some shit? Yeah, it is. Okay. Well. Oh. I know I'm supposed to know this, but I don't. Okay, there is no actual nudity here, thankfully. I know I'm supposed to know this, but I don't. Whatever. Right, these letters work, right? The king of the... No, okay. Whatever, I don't care. Oh, that's the one. Well, whatever. That's... That kind of looks like the guy from Steins Gate, like the way he's standing. But... That's not Steins Gate. What the hell is this, bro? Is this an isekai? This might be an isekai. Fuck. But I don't know. N with 3 letters. Maybe it's like new something. New cooking master boy. No. New something of something. No. Well, whatever. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what this is. Okay, well, that's... Is that the guy from Magai? Which one is it? I don't remember his name. That's not Aladdin or Sinbad. I don't remember anyone else's name. I don't know anyone else. It's Alibaba, right? Oh, that's right. Whatever. That's the one. I don't remember what her name is either. That looks like the Fate art style. I don't know which Fate it would be though, because I don't recognize this. I don't know the other ones. Okay, wrong Fate. GG. Damn. That's so unlucky. How many Fates are you in and I didn't guess the right one? That's so unlucky. Damn. Do I know this? I feel like I do. Is that from Kaiju number 8? I think so, right? I don't know the other ones. Yeah, it is. That was not it, man. It's fine, it's fine. Chat, help me for this one. It's a manga, recent, good. Let's try Freerun. 2023 adventure, not fantasy manga. It's probably not isekai. Pretty much every isekai is fantasy, honestly. And it's also higher than a 7.3. So there's no shot it's an isekai. Oh, Dungeon Meshi. That would definitely be fantasy. 100%. Hell's Paradise? Maybe. I don't know. No. Higher than an 8. Yeah, someone said king ranking. Do you think that wouldn't be considered fantasy? I feel like it would be considered fantasy, right? It's not action either. How are you going to be adventure but not action or fantasy? What the fuck is left? What kind of adventure are you going on, man? I mean, maybe it is. No way, right? Yeah, no, okay. It is fantasy. Bookworm? But that's not adventure. It's also clearly fantasy. Spice and Wolf? Is that not fantasy? Everything is fantasy? Yeah! Heavenly Delusion? Is that not action? You're telling me that's not action? Okay, I guess. Okay, I guess. Okay. Is it going to the VOD? No. Have I heard this before? I feel like it kind of rings a bell. It does. It definitely rings a bell. I definitely recognize this. Oh, yeah. I definitely recognize this. Yeah, I definitely recognize this. I don't think I would have figured it out just from the music though. No clue. It's a desk and a chair. Oh no. It's one of those. It's one of those, man. It's one of those, man. I don't know. I don't know any of those, man. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Let's move on. Ooh. Okay, wait. Oh, you guys can't see it. GG. Okay. The music does not fit these visuals. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is this, bro? What am I looking at? What the fuck is that? Okay, well, I have no clue what it is, but it looked like there was an assassin somewhere, so maybe there's an assassin in the title. A ninja and an assassin under one roof. The shy hero and the assassin princess. It's not gonna be this. I feel like the vibe of these two fits. No. Okay. Yeah, whatever. It's we got above 20k. That's all that matters. Let's be honest. That's all we care about. Oh well. Hmm. Editors. Oh yeah, I should tell the editors about the Klee video. Thank you. Recorded Klee witchcrafting. Alright, chat. No more pips? Nah. I think that's gonna be it for today. Tomorrow's a live stream day. Check DMs from me. Did you DM me? You did. My bad. I'm tired as fuck today. We can do that tomorrow after the live stream if you want, though. Yo. Alright, chat. Let's... Yeah. We're gonna end the stream here. I hope you all had a good time. Tomorrow's live stream, so you guys better show up for that. I'll hopefully wake up in time, but if I don't, I'll just watch it late, I guess. We can... You know what? Let's raid Frost Prime. Because that's where I'll be for the next, like, hour and a half or some shit. So, everyone go say hi. Who? Slay the Spire streamer. He's like one of the only streamers I actually watch on Twitch. Is he the only streamer I actually watch on Twitch? He might be. I mean, I watch Nick sometimes, but Nick isn't a streamer. Like, he's a friend. Like, anyway, whatever. Be nice. Say hi, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.